Hey YouTube, I'm Jess. Welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're gonna do a fall makeup look, and I wanted to do this one more in depth and with more tips and tricks for those of you who are more beginners at makeup. The last makeup look that I posted that had more of a fall feel, you guys loved it. I wasn't expecting everybody to like it so much, and I feel like I didn't really go into a ton of detail, and it was also a little bit, it wasn't a hard or like difficult look, but it wasn't a super easy look either. So for today's video, I wanted to film a fall video with makeup that anybody can do. And yeah, I'm gonna talk you guys through it so that you can follow along at home and recreate the same look on yourselves. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so that more people can see it too, and let's get started. Okay guys, so something that is so important when you're doing your makeup is to prep your skin properly. You need to use moisturizer. You have to use moisturizer before you do your makeup, no matter what. If you don't have a skincare routine right now, start one. It can be as easy as just cleansing your face morning and night and using a moisturizer morning and night. To prep my skin this morning, I cleansed it in the shower with my CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser. I went in with the Kate Somerville Biomimicking Peptide Serum, and then my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. So this is the moisturizer that I use every day. I love it. I highly recommend it to you guys. If you have had your makeup done by me before, you've had this cream on your face before and you've loved it, yeah, so definitely make sure you're prepping your skin properly before you go in with any makeup. It's going to make all the difference in the world. I'm telling you, listen to me, please. To start off this makeup look, we're going to start with foundation. For foundation today, I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation. You can use whatever foundation you have at home and whichever foundation you think works best for your skin. My advice for makeup in the fall is to use a foundation that is not super mattifying, because as we get further and further away from summer, our skin is going to start to get more and more dry, especially if you are living in Canada. So I just put the foundation on the back of my hand, and then I just add little dots to my face. And then I'm buffing it in with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Complexion Brush, which is actually meant to go with this foundation. But you can use a sponge, you can use whatever type of brush you like. Just get that product really worked into the skin. You can even use your hands to put on your foundation if you prefer to do it that way. That works really nicely too. The warmth from your fingers really helps the foundation work itself into your skin. Okay, pro tip, when you are blending in your foundation, I'm sorry about the darkness on half of my face, you guys. I don't know why that's happening today. Let me try and fix the lighting, hold on. I don't know why is the side of my face so bright? Okay, I think it's just the lighting outside today, unfortunately. My camera settings, and like I brought in an extra light and stuff, and it's just, yeah, it just really wants to be super bright over here. So we're gonna live with that. Okay, with foundation, one thing that I want to point out that is super important that I feel like a lot of beginners or people who are new to makeup don't do is bring the foundation down their neck. So a lot of people will bring their foundation like right to here. And something I'm actually guilty of a lot is missing this section of my face. So it's really important to make sure you're getting all of the areas of your face. And then once you get your face done, you want to bring that foundation down underneath your jaw, because majority of us do not have a foundation that matches us exactly 100% dead on. So when you wear your foundation only to here, it can be very obvious. You get this line of demarcation where the skin on this side and the skin on this side are completely different colors. So it's really important to bring your foundation down onto your neck. Even if you're using a BB cream or a CC cream or a tinted moisturizer, make sure you're bringing that all the way down your neck so that you have a nice gradual fade into the rest of your skin tone. That is so important, you guys. That's one of the things I notice on people the most, is that they're not blending their foundation down their neck. So make sure that you are doing that every single time you are putting any kind of tinted product on your face. Tinted sunscreen, literally anything tinted. Bring it under the jaw and down onto the neck. So after foundation, we want to go in with a little bit of concealer. For concealer today, I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Retoucher. So this is a nice light to medium coverage concealer. It's really nice and hydrating. So I'm going to apply some to the very inner corner of my eye here, and then add a little bit more to the outer edges. That's where I personally have the most darkness. I always blend my concealer in with a beauty blender. Any type of sponge that you have will work, but I just find it's the quickest, easiest, and best way to apply concealer. It really presses that product into the skin, adds a little bit of moisture in there, and I feel like it just has the most seamless, natural look to it. If you have a problem with creasing under your eyes with your concealer, that is likely because you're using too much product or you're not blending it out well enough. So you can try using less product and try using a sponge to blend it in, and you will have a better result that way. To set that concealer, I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder. I have mine in shade number 1. Super important to set your concealer, guys. I know a lot of people, especially older women, don't like the idea of using powder under their eyes, but I'm telling you that you need to set your concealer. It's gonna prevent it from moving around. It's gonna prevent it from creasing. It's just gonna help keep it looking fresh and keep it in place all day. Once we go in at the end with some setting spray, it's gonna get rid of that powdery look underneath the eyes. Also, if you use a powder like this, like the airbrush powder from Charlotte Tilbury, or there are other powders that are really nicely finely milled and sort of like hydrating powders, you're not gonna have your under eye looking dry and cakey. So if you're experiencing that problem, I would try a different powder. Let's move on to the eyes for a little bit. So to start off our eye makeup today, I'm going to use an eyeshadow primer. So the eyeshadow primer that I'm gonna use is from Mercier, and this is in the color Flax. It is tinted. So a lot of people complain to me and say that they have problems with, number 1, their eyeshadow not lasting all day, but number 2, more commonly, people have issues with their mascara transferring from their lashes onto their eyelid. And using an eyeshadow primer is gonna help you with both of those issues. It's gonna help your makeup stay on longer, but what it does is it creates a barrier between your skin and your makeup on your eyes. The oil from your skin isn't able to make it all the way to the surface, because what happens is you put mascara on your eyelashes and your skin gets oily on your eyelid. So then when your mascara from your lashes touches your face up here where you have oily skin, the oil is gonna cause the mascara to break down, and that's how you're gonna get the smudging that happens up on your eyelid. So when you put the eyeshadow primer down, you create that barrier that's gonna prevent the oils from coming through, which is gonna help you not get those little mascara smudges on your eyelid throughout the day. And then for our eyeshadow look today, we're going to use 2 different colored eyeshadows. So when I think of fall makeup, I think of neutrals, I think of warm tones, I think of makeup starting to get a little bit darker, a little bit more smoky. Summer's all about like fresh, bright, glowy, dewy. So the 2 eyeshadows that I'm gonna use today are this one right here. So this is a Nars duo. This is in the color Mediteranee. And I'm gonna use this orangey color right here. Orange, pumpkins, fall, we all get that, right? And then I'm gonna use this color right here, which I did use in my previous tutorial as well. This is Bobbi Brown Camel. So if you're trying to recreate this look at home, just look for an orangey shadow, just something that has like that orangey undertone to it. And then this is a warm brown. So this has almost like a yellowy, mustardy kind of feel to it. So to start, I'm gonna use a brush that looks like this. I hope you guys can sort of get an idea of that, but it's a little bit fluffy, nothing too poofy, but it's got that little bit of fluff on it, and it's got a nice sort of round shape on the top. It's sort of the shape of a paddle. This is a MAC 217. This is a super popular brush. If you guys have MAC brushes at home, you probably own this already. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the camel color from Bobbi Brown. I'm gonna dip my brush in there, tap off any of the excess powder so that we don't end up with fallout all over our faces. And then I'm just gonna take that and I'm gonna apply it all over my lid. So I'm going from the inner corner of my eye all the way to the outer corner. Same thing on this side. okay? And then I'm gonna switch brushes. So to create a really seamless eyeshadow look, you need to use more than one brush. So this brush is also from MAC. This is a MAC 224. So this brush is a lot more poofy on the top, okay? So we call this a blender brush. So it's got a lot more puff out at the top of the brush. Here are the two sort of side by side. So this one is a little bit more of like a paddle. It's not as poofy. And then this one's a little bit more rounded. It's got more bristles and it really like comes out at the top and is sort of circular. So I have other brushes like this that I can show you that are similar. This one is from Quo. This one came in my Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. So that's sort of the general shape that you want to go for your blending brush, okay? Blending your eyeshadow is so important and it's really easy. So what we're gonna do, we have that color down on our lid and it looks really harsh. We want it to look really smoky and blown out. So I'm gonna take my blending brush. There's no product on this brush. And I'm gonna start on the outside corner and I'm gonna go in little circular motions and I'm just gonna do little circles over the edges of the eyeshadow. Okay. So you want to make sure your circles are really small because if you start doing really big circles or blending really hard, you're going to end up with your eyeshadow all the way to your eyebrow or all the way to your temple. And that's how you end up with that look that none of you guys like and that you're all afraid of being like punched in the face. So just keep your blend really, really small, go slowly. And do those little circular motions. When I get to the outer corner of my eye, I like to flick the eyeshadow out this way towards my temple because I really like my eyes to look lifted. But that look might be a little bit too dramatic for some of you, so that's just a personal preference type of thing, okay? So you can see the difference between my two eyes, between the blended and the unblended side. So let me just go ahead and do the same thing over here. Windscreen wiper motions are helpful too. So just back and forth, back and forth. But start with those little circular motions. So I've got that color blended out. Next thing I'm gonna do is go back in with the same brush we used originally. I'm gonna take this orange color from the Nars palette. And I'm just gonna go right over top of the first shade that we put down, just right on top of the lid. Okay, so we want to blend this too, but we don't want to blend it as much. We don't want to smoke it out as far. So I'm going to use my same blending brush and I'm going to just go in and do my circular motions, but I'm keeping them super tight and really, really small. And just really softly blending out that second color. That's it. 2 eyeshadows, 2 brushes, super easy. Fall, warm, orange, pumpkin spice, all of the things. Can you guys tell it's early for me? I don't usually film my videos this early. I usually am doing like computer work or work on my phone this early in the morning. But I had to film earlier today. Can you tell? We're gonna take a little break from our eyeshadow and we're gonna do a little bit of eyeliner. So for eyeliner in the fall, I love brown. Brown eyeliner is just so rich and yummy. Brown is really good for beginners too because it's not as harsh, it's not as stark. So if you kind of make a mistake, it's not as obvious. I'm gonna make eyeliner really foolproof for you though. So what you want for this is a brown pencil liner. So the one I'm gonna use is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Rock and Coal pencil in the color Barbarella Brown. So what you want from your eyeliner is for it to be really creamy. You want it to be pigmented and dark. You want it to be creamy so that when you touch it down to your skin, it just effortlessly glides onto the skin and gives you a nice dark line. You want it to be creamy so that when you first apply it, you can kind of buff it out and smoke it out and blend it. And that's gonna help us with our foolproof eyeliner today. I feel like a lot of drugstore eyeliners or eyeliners that people have are really dry when you have to push really hard with them to get any kind of decent pigmentation out of them, and they're not going to work properly for the technique that we're going to do right now. So creaminess is super important. I really love the Rock and Coal liners from Charlotte if you're looking for something. So what I'm going to do is give my pencil a sharpen. We want to work with a sharp pencil, and I'm going to take this liner, set it down against the outer corner of my eye, and then just drag it about halfway across my lid. Okay, just like that. Then I'm gonna take this little definer brush right here. So it's got this flat edge on it. You could also use a pencil brush, which many of you might have. You could use a Q-tip. A lot of drugstore eyeshadow palettes come with those little foam applicators. Something like that would work really nicely for this too. So before this eyeliner has too much to dry, I'm gonna take my little flat definer brush or whatever you have that will work for this, and I'm just gonna slowly go back and forth and just smoke out that line, okay? So we are just blending it out, softening it. And the reason this is foolproof is because if you draw that little line there and you make a mistake, it doesn't matter because we're just gonna go in and we're gonna blend it all out anyways, okay? So we're just gonna blend, blend, blend. And then I'm slowly gonna take that towards the inner corner of my eye. But it's just a really, really soft line on that inner corner because I didn't actually put any product down there. So the only color that's going there is being transferred by the brush. We're just blending that out and giving that liner a nice smoky look and feel. It's literally foolproof to do your eyeliner like this, you guys. So let me just show you that one more time. Turning my pencil horizontally, drawing from halfway across my lid to the outer corner of my eye. It does not matter how neat that line is. Look at how jaggedy that looks on me. It doesn't matter because we're just gonna go in with our blender brush and we're just gonna smoke it out. Boom, eyeliner, done. You guys know I love a winged liner, but winged liner is definitely not easy or for beginners. So if you know how to do a winged liner and you also like the look of it, definitely go ahead and do that. I feel like it's definitely the most flattering look. I'm not gonna be wearing false lashes for this look, so it's really important for me to curl my lashes. So I'm gonna take my eyelash curler, give my lashes a squeeze, and then for mascara today, I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Lashes Volume 2 and give my lashes a good coating of mascara. This mascara is super volumizing. It gives sort of like a clumpy look to the lashes. It's really dark and super dramatic, but you won't like it if you don't like clumpy lashes. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so to finish up the eyes, we're gonna do the lower lash line. So what I'm gonna do is take my pencil brush that I showed you before, this tiny little guy right here. I'm gonna go back into a Bobbi Brown Camel, and I'm going to run that all the way from the outer corner of my lower lash line to the inner corner, okay? And when you do this, you wanna connect this shadow with the shadow on the top of your lid as well. So earlier when I was blending out my shadow, I blended my shadow out here, right? Now, when I connect my lower lash line up to that shadow, we get a nice seamless looking blend and everything is connected. Our lower lash line becomes connected to our upper lash line here. I hope you guys can see that. So I'm just taking this blender brush with no product on it and just going over top of that. And then I'm gonna take the orange shade and just add a little bit of that sort of from the inner corner to about halfway across, just to have that orange feel on the lower lash line as well. So this next step is optional, but I feel like this is one of the reasons you guys really liked my previous look, was that I lined my eyes on the inside with eyeliner as well. So I'm just gonna take my brown liner and I'm gonna line my waterline, which is the inside of my eye on the bottom. And then I'm gonna do that on the top too. So it's the same thing, and this is pretty important, you guys. If you're gonna line on the inside on the bottom, you definitely wanna do it on the top too. So I'm just gonna lift my lid, take my pencil, and just do the same thing right on top. It's kind of weird and freaky, but you get used to it super quickly. And if you grew up like me in the 2000s, in the early 2000s, then you did this every day for school anyways, so you're used to it, okay? And then to just completely finish off the eyes, I'm gonna go in with a little bit more mascara on my lower lashes. Okay guys, so that's the eyes done. Hopefully we can still feel and see the vibe of the look that I did last week, but this is just like so much easier and like beginner friendly. So yeah, let's just move on and finish up the complexion. So let's do a little bit of bronzer. For bronzer today, I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzer. I've been quite enjoying this. I'm gonna really lightly dip my brush in there because this color is quite dark and pigmented. And then to bronze my face, I'm not gonna put bronzer all over. I'm not trying to make myself a different skin tone with my bronzer. I want to add warmth and definition back into my skin, okay? So I'm going to start with this bronzer, and again, we're going in circular motions because that's how we blend out powders. And I'm going to start on my temple, bring it up around my hairline, and then over onto this temple on this side here. This is why I haven't done my eyebrows yet, because I always come in with my bronzer and I end up messing up my brows. So I save that until after I've done my bronzer. Okay. And then recently I've been doing something different with my bronzer. I used to take that same brush and then come down onto my cheek as well. But recently I've been liking the look of less bronzer on my cheeks and just doing more of a contoured look. So I'm gonna take this guy right here, which is a brush that's a little bit more dense. It's got a really nice shape to it. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Powder and Sculpt brush. This is an amazing brush. I'm gonna go back into that same bronzer. To do this, you could also use a brush that looks like this. So this is my Quo blush brush. I feel like that's a really common brush that a lot of you guys might have if you don't have something that looks like this. So what I'm gonna do with this bronzer is I'm gonna start from the corner of my ear and I'm gonna come down into about halfway down my face, okay? So we're gonna go in circular motions again. And we're just gonna add that really soft contour to my cheeks. So you don't want to go too low down this way and you don't want to go too far down this way, okay? So top of the ear to about the corner, the center of the eye here, okay? Everybody's face is different, so the way you contour your face is going to be different, but I'd say that's a general rule of thumb. So you want to place your brush down at the back because that's where we want the most pigmentation, and then we're going to slowly blend that color forwards. Circular motions, okay? And then with anything left on the brush, I'll kind of connect that with the bronzer that's up on my temple up here. I also like to just take a little bit of bronzer down the sides of my nose as well. Let's go ahead and do these brows. So something that I feel like you guys all love and none of you use, I'm talking to my clients right now, is brow gel. You guys are always concerned about your eyebrows being out of place. Some of you are concerned about having grays in your brows. Tinted brow gel is so good, you guys. It's like the quickest and easiest way to fill in your brows. So it's got this tiny little wand on it. And all I'm gonna do is just comb it through my brows, just like I combed my mascara through my eyelashes. So I'm going in an upward and outward direction. I'm being really gentle. And then I'm gonna come back towards the front of my brow after there's less product on the brush. So I don't like to start right here at the front because when you first dip into the container, there's a lot of product on the brush and there's not a ton of hair in the front of your brow to grab onto that product. So I always start about here, come all the way out, and then all the way back in, upwards and outwards until there's less product on the brush, and then I come through the front of the brow. Eyebrows done. So easy. This, by the way, is Supermodel. The shade is Supermodel from Charlotte Tilbury. Let's highlight. I'm going to use the same brush that I used to do my contouring with. I'm just going to use this highlight from the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow palette. I'm going to highlight right on the top of my cheekbone. So right here. Let's do 2 layers of that because I love highlighter. Okay, and then we want to highlight the inner corner of our eyes as well. So you can use any small little brush for this and just get right into this inner corner of the eye and just add a little bit of brightness in there. If you are more mature and you're finding that your brows are starting to sink, you can take a little bit of that highlight and just add it underneath the brow right here as well. And that's gonna help lift those brows a little bit for you. But I don't really love the look of that on myself, so I never really do that. But I will do that on clients if I feel like they need a little bit of lifting action. That's not just for older women. Lots of younger women don't have a ton of space between their eye and their brow, so it just adds a little bit of separation, a little bit of space. It can bring that brow bone forwards. There's lots of different instances where you would highlight the brow bone, but yeah, it's definitely kind of like a person by person basis. More often than not, I won't highlight the brow bone, but it can definitely come in handy. So if you guys like that look, or you're not sure, just give it a try and see how you feel. So you're gonna wanna choose a blush that has sort of a peachy orangey tone to it because we've done the orangey tones on our eyes. We're gonna end up putting a little more of like an orangey tone on our lips as well. So the blush that I'm gonna use today is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is in the color Ecstasy. You can see it's got that nice peachy tone to it. I'm gonna go in with my little blush brush and I'm just gonna mix the 2 colors together and put that sort of in between my contour and highlight. So my highlight's up here, my contour is down here. I'm putting this blush sort of right in the middle and we're going sort of over top of both and blending it all together. I'm gonna bring that right down onto the apples of my cheeks. I'm also just gonna take a little bit of that blush and add it to my forehead. Just add in a little bit more color to my skin. You can bring it up onto the nose like this if you want. Okay, and then let's do lips. So I can't do makeup without lip liner anymore. If you're not used to using a lip liner and you don't want to use a lip liner, you don't have to. But I am going to today. So this is Pillow Talk lip liner from Charlotte Tilbury. Pillow Talk is designed to mimic the color of your lips, so it works with pretty much any lipstick. All right, and then to go with our warm orangey vibe that we have going on, we have our peachy cheek, we have our warm neutral eye. I'm gonna go in with a neutral sort of warm lipstick. So this is from Charlotte Tilbury and this is in the color Stoned Rose. This is one of my favorite lipsticks from CT and it is just the perfect fall shade. Got a little bit of shine to it. It is the kissing formula of lipstick, which means it has a satiny finish, a little bit more moisture. All of Charlotte's lipsticks have antioxidants and vitamin E, so they're super hydrating, really comfortable to wear. And they're very pigmented, so they're quite long wearing as well. So that's what Stoned Rose looks like. It's like got that nice like rosy vibe, but it's definitely a little bit warmer. It's got a little bit of like an orange feel to it. Okay, and that's it, you guys. That is the finished look. I'm trying to be further back, like away from the light so that we can see everything not all blown out. I hope this video was helpful. I hope if you guys watched the video from last week and felt like it was too advanced for you, that this is something better, something easier, and something that you feel like you can accomplish yourself. You can still get that same vibe, just with a little bit of an easier technique. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate you being here so much. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. You'll be notified when I upload new videos. If you give this video a thumbs up, it's gonna help more people to see it too. And leave me a comment down below so that I know you were here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.